Hey everybody, I hope you all had a great day so far. Well, it's been a bit of a weird morning for me, but not horrible. And sorry if my webcam looks a little different. I noticed that, well, one, it was off center. Also, it's very, very hot today, so I wanted to try and keep my windows a little closed to give my AC a break. So I'm gonna try and rely a bit more on artificial light today. It's still a little off center, but I think I can live with it. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Oh yeah, so we were just working on the lobby last time, and I'm pretty sure I didn't leave on any loose notes. Yeah, so I think everything's set up. I just did the save file line, which would say like what team a player had if we're loading from a save file. Yeah, of course that's hidden now because there's no save files. So really all I have to do is just do these last few commands. Remove, kick, and then add a slot. So let's actually... Well, it doesn't really matter which one we start with. They're all pretty much... I don't think any of these will really be that difficult, except for maybe the transfer. Because... it'll be difficult to... Well, not difficult, but we'll have to figure out which slots you could try to transfer a player into. But what I actually want to do, I think I want to put kick above remove or before remove, and then I should name this better. Okay, find the enter key. So now I just gotta apply those changes to the prefab. Alright, so let's just start with the kick button. And we already pretty much have kicking implemented because we kick a player if you change the type to something. Also, I noticed that here I don't actually do anything with the AI input, and that's because it's kind of hard to deal with without mods. So I think I'll go ahead and just add a listener here. So slot AI script input. And I mean, one thing is to just leave this not implemented exception, but I don't know, that would be kind of annoying. I think what I'll actually do is just print that this isn't actually supported yet. But we can go ahead and do this kind of check. And we also want to make sure that this is an AI type slot. So if this passes, then we try to do something, but we can't actually do it yet because, well, I mean, I guess. Okay, I'm just not going to worry about it yet. We'll see how it works when we actually get mods loaded. Debug, log. So AI script not implemented yet. Let's actually do a log error so it'll really pop up. Okay, so anyway, that's fine, but I need to create another manager class here for the kick button. It's gonna be pretty simple. I don't really have a button here already, but we are gonna have to register a listener, so I think I'll just get one of the drop-down managers and copy that. Alright, so let's get some namespaces. And the flow logic container is just a parent class that lets us use the event system in this game, and then the IUI setup interface lets us use this method, which is called whenever Unity finishes loading the UI. But what will I actually need here? I'll need the flow state to see if I can kick a player at this time, and then of course I'll need the local connection to see if I'm the host, but besides that, I don't think. Well, obviously you can't kick a player if there's not a player in our connected player. So I guess we'll need all this. Do I want to have a dialogue too? I would say no, because if you press the kick button, then we want to kick that person, so. obviously they could just rejoin, so we might want to have like a way you could blacklist. Oh, but that wouldn't even work because they could just change their username. So that is one weakness of this system. Because you'd actually have to, if there was someone that kept trying to join that you didn't actually want to play, you'd have to keep trying to kick them until until a person you wanted to play was actually able to join. But I mean, I don't know. We'll worry about if something like that was happening. You would just want to add a password. Maybe we should be able to switch the server's password while inside the lobby. Well, that actually is a pretty good idea. I guess change password. So anyone that's already connected would still be connected, but then they'd have to, if they wanted to reconnect, they'd have to have the new password. But yeah, that's, again, I'm probably overthinking things, but. Okay, so I guess we will need all this except for the dialogue. Okay, so this will be state phase. Well, this will be just like. Okay, this is actually more complicated. So int slot index. Okay, well, let's actually check this first. So if this is true, then we have to do some more logic. But if this is not true, then we can just return false. Okay, so if it is interactive, or if we're in the input phase and we're the host, then this slot would be, we'd be able to kick this player if they're connected, and this is a player slot, so slot equals lobby parameter slots index if slot type is player and. Or I guess it could be a lobby too. I mean a spectator. Okay, so I already have this, which is pretty much what I want. Fingers are off, are like offset on the keyboard. Okay, so okay, that's fine. I guess let's just add slot. Yeah, a slot with client. Okay, and now we'll need the username, so we return clients dot is username active for the username in the slot. Okay, so first off, we can only press this button if we're in the input phase. We're the host. This is a slot that has a player associated with it, and that player is connected. Okay, so that means I also need to subscribe to the client change event. That fires whenever a client gets connected or not. Okay, I guess I should change this to refresh then. Why does this need the clients? Because I realize that this one doesn't subscribe to a client change, so I'm trying to figure out why we even needed to know. Oh, because when we try to open a dialogue. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so now I need the index in here to pass to its interactable, so I need to switch this to just a normal for loop. Okay, oh, also I haven't set up this prefab yet. So we're gonna need the button for kick, button, a button for remove slot button, and a drop down for transfer slot button. I don't even know if this is really needed, now that I think about it. Besides just, unless somebody's being anal about the ordering of players, I don't think the index of the slot actually makes any difference. So I might actually get rid of this. I'm gonna need to, while I'm working on the other two buttons, I'll try to think if there's any reason why you would want to do that. Okay, so this is fine. Oh, except I need to change this to kick button. Okay, so we do the same thing here, but then also we need to subscribe to the kick button press. And this should be on click. And what this is doing, since I'm using what's called a lambda expression, which is this, I can't just pass I into it, because when the for loop goes through, the I would actually have the new value even, but I kind of want it to preserve the index when I add the listener here. So in order to do that, I just create a new variable, and this variable is restricted to this scope inside these curly braces. So when so it always stays the same inside this lambda expression. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes the variable scope and lambda expressions can get a little confusing, but okay, we don't need this. And then on click is pretty simple. All it's going to do is just be a kick command. Then we get the slot index, and then we just queue it. Okay, we don't have a dialogue, so I can get rid of that. Okay, so now on the slot input manager, we'll need to listen for that kick command. Yeah, all events listener. Okay, so what do I know I already kick a player. Yeah, I just queue this kick client command, which is the names are kind of confusing, aren't they? Let's change this to kick. Yeah, input. Or I don't know, command input, I think is what I'll call it. Because that makes it clear that it's input from the player. Oh, except I apparently misspelled kick. And that's different than this command, which is inside the system. Okay, so what do I need to check? I guess I need to make sure this is true again. And also is slot with client. And is slot with client, command, index. So I know here it doesn't issue the message of username is null or there is no connected client with that username, so I don't need to check for that stuff here. So I guess I'll well, since I do that twice, let's go ahead and extract this. I'd rather pass the index instead of the actual slot object. Okay, technically I don't need to do this, but I think it makes sense to check for that in here. Okay, this isn't. Oh yeah, that's not what I don't want to kick a slot. I want to kick a username. So let's change this actually. Yeah, because at this point, the slot would already have, or would not have a client. So that's why we actually want to kick the client that was in there. Yeah, so I kind of messed that up. Oh, missing a parentheses there. So then here I would just kick slots, command, index, username. I think that's all I have to do there. I guess let's go ahead. Oh, well, I have to do a couple things before I can test it. First, I need to add the Unity objects into this mono behavior. Once it's done loading. That's not what I want to do. Oh, come on. Sometimes I just wanted to scroll down, but it won't let me scroll down when I had something selected. Okay. And then I need to initialize the kick button manager in the lobby controller. Okay, and I think that's it. So let's just go to the title screen and try that out. Okay, so right now I'm a player, so if I kick... Okay, it did disconnect. Yeah, and the server did close, so... yeah, and the lobby doesn't know what to do at this point because technically the server has closed, so... because I just kicked the host. So I guess to really test this, I should build another client. I think... Oh, that's strange. Okay. Okay, I had switched to this because I thought that this was supposed to be... like, their Unity is gonna remove support for mono scripting backend, so I had gone ahead and switched to the IL2 CPP, but apparently it's not installed by default, so I'll have to look into that. But yeah, for now mono will be fine. Okay, this will just take a little bit. So while that's going, let's see what else I need to do here. Again, I think I might remove the transfer player, so we just got to do the remove slot. Oh, and then add slot. It should be pretty simple. Yeah, and then I'll probably move on to mods. Besides that, we'll have the save file. But I kind of want to do save file last because that's going to change a lot of the way the lobby works. So I want to have everything completed in quote normal mode until I add the save file. So, oh yeah, and I have to do a couple of settings, then the ready button and chat. Okay, so we still got a bit to go. But I think that these player slots are probably the most complicated because they have a lot of netcode to do with them. So we'll just have this here, and if I start up the editor as our second client. Name it 1. Okay, so now it's connected here. Okay, and yeah, since I'm not the host, it won't let me actually do anything. But here I could kick the player. Okay, and now it says it's reserved for them. Yeah, so they're disconnected now. In the final game, when you get disconnected, we want to move them back out to a different screen, but... And we can verify that it's disconnected by going up to debug, and we can see it doesn't have... It only has this connection, which is the host. Okay, so I think that's fine. Okay, so let's do the remove and add slots. Adding slot will be super simple. The remove slot is a little bit more complicated because if you try to remove a slot and there's somebody connected to it, we'll want to slot button. We'll want to have a warning. But we already have that dialog, so hopefully that won't be difficult to add. Okay, so let's copy this. And then of course I'll need the dialogue for this one. Oops, I meant to copy, not cut. Okay, and this dialogue equals dialogue. And I'll go ahead and set this Okay, so title text, yeah, will be warning, and I guess removing this slot will disconnect the player. Don't have to be too descriptive because yeah, this is just kind of temporary system. So on callback, we really don't need a callback for the first. So if I left it null, we would just close the button. Would it throw an error? Oh no, because if it's null, then we don't invoke it, so that's fine. Yeah, we actually go by buttons. Yeah, by the button text and not the callbacks. So yeah, it's fine if one button has no callback. Okay, so we don't have to do that. Okay, so this would be interactable. I think. Oh well, no, because we don't really care if the slot has a client, because you can just remove any slot. So it's actually simpler. Well, you can't remove the last slot. Yeah, I should actually probably make it so that you can't kick yourself either. Yes, let's have a little note. Host should not be able to kick himself. Oh, okay. Remove their slot or change their type to a non-client type. So basically, if you're the host, you should only be able to switch between player and spectator. So I'll need to go back and change that, but we can fix this remove thing while I'm here. So how would I guess we do username validator equals. I have the local connection so I can get the username that way. So if this slot has my username, we can't kick. Okay, so this should be remove slot button. Oops, that's the wrong thing. Slot. Slot remove command. I think I'll rename this to command input again. Okay, and then we just queue it. I guess I don't care about this. Oh, what about the dialogue? So we'd want to kick this if... So I actually do need this. So if try open dialogue is false, then we would queue the dialogue or that event immediately. Okay, so here if is slot with client. Okay, so now we need to check to see if that player is connected right now. If clients dot is username active slot username. Okay, so here we'd return true. So what I need to do is set the The dialogue callback. Don't I have the choice dialogue already? Okay, well, I don't know. Oh, I'm editing the kick button. Oh, I hate it when I do this. Okay, well let's... Okay, that's a little awkward. Move some stuff around. And this should just go back to be the kick button. And that's still the kick button. And then this is interactable needs to go back to this version. Okay, well, actually... Well, I need this version and the remove slot button. And then the other thing here was I had to check if it's had a client. So is slot with client, slot index. Okay, I'm just making sure that this is correct. Yeah, so you can only kick it if we're in phase, we are the host. This is a slot that has a client and that client is active. So you can remove them. You'd remove the slot if we're in phase and we're the host, and this isn't the host slot. So yeah, this is fine, I think. I need to change this to remove slot button. I'm in the right file now, right? I'm just gonna close that. Okay. I also should close the dialogue. Yeah, if something's changed, we'd probably want to close the dialogue. Okay, so here, I think I just set the callback and then call show. Okay, so dialogue, set callback for button 0, and this would just be events Q E, and then this would turn false here. Okay, so if I call close and the dialogue is not open, okay, then nothing happens, so that's fine. Okay, so then here we just need to have a listener for the remove slot command. When I kick a client, well, I guess their username would stick. But I guess when I kick a client, I don't really want to reserve the username anymore. So probably, well, I'm thinking about it. Slot equals... I should kick the client and then remove their username from the slot. Okay. So what do I need to do here? I guess, yeah, I have to check that all these same things. We're in phase, we're the host, and the index is not out of bounds. And besides that, yeah, I would kick somebody if there's someone in here, so again, I wanted to copy, not cut. But I guess I would just say is slot with client. I think that's all I have to check. Do I need the slot? I'll just go ahead and get it in case. I'll need it for here, I guess. I also, yeah, I need to check to make sure that this isn't the host slot. So if slot or username compare equals slot username local username is false. Okay. And then what I would do is just remove the slot from the lobby parameters, right? Move at command index. I don't think there's anything else I have to do. Okay, yeah, I think that's it. So let's go ahead and hook up the or initialize the class here. So remove slot button manager, and I think that's all I have to do. Okay, so some error. No object, choice dialog helper. That's weird. Oh right, I don't bind the dialog helper, I bind something else. What is it? I think it's like the choice dialog data. Or I don't request this. Yeah, I did this wrong. And then, alright, just create the new dialog here. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because there's a dialog helper for every class that uses the dialog, so obviously you wouldn't pass it to the constructor. Okay, there we go. So let's change these types so we can kind of watch what gets moved around. Okay, so if I remove this slot, oh, nothing happened, but I think I know why. I need to, I didn't notify if it changed, so nothing got updated. Okay, again, let's just change these around. Okay, there we go. And let's look at the lobby parameters to see if it actually matches. They've got a player and then a guest and a spectator. And it won't let me remove my own slot, so that's good to see. So since this is... If I set this username to test username, which doesn't make sense. Okay, that's kind of a weird thing. So what happened here is a spectator set to here, even though I was trying to reserve it for a player named this, but since the username is the same. How should that work? Yeah, that's kind of buggy. You shouldn't be able to reserve it for a username that's already connected. This reservation stuff keeps causing me headaches. How should I do it though? I'm not sure the best way to handle that. Maybe what I need to do is you can't just... Okay, I think the problem is when you're inputting it there, you can't just have a field that updates as you're typing because... Okay, take for example, I want to... Like there's somebody named app, but then that was already connected and then I wanted to reserve this for Apple. So when I try to type Apple, the game would give me an error here saying that you can't duplicate this username, but it wouldn't let me type anymore. So I think what I actually need to do is have a button that would say, do you want to reserve this for somebody? And then you click on it, a dialog will come up. You can type the player, and then it'd be reserved for them. But I don't know if I want to do that because that seems like a lot of work for something that's kind of silly. The reason, the whole point of it really in my head is that if someone disconnects, it would reserve this slot for them so that they could reconnect into the same slot. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe you can't reserve a slot ahead of time for somebody, and you could kick someone that's disconnected, but if they're disconnected, it would just remove their username from the lobby parameters. I think that's the way I have to do it, because I don't really want to do that whole dialogue thing. Yeah, so I think that's how I'll do it. So let's see. So on this kick, still want to check if it's a slot with a client. Okay, and again, kick, make sure that the username is actually connected, so I don't have to test it there. It's more the kick button manager. This doesn't need to check if they're online anymore, so this would just return true. And now I don't need the clients, and I don't need to update when clients change. Okay, so here also, I don't think I need the clients either. I just need to know, yeah, if they're... Okay, well, I do need it because I have to check when we open the dialog. Okay. I think this is the way to go. So I should change this reserved text manager. Okay, so let's see. Rename this to reserved text, and it will just be a text field. Or just, yeah, text instead of an input field. So you can't type into it anymore. So yeah, this doesn't make sense. I don't think I need the state. Okay, well, I'm glad. Yeah, this whole thing just... I should have seen it coming because I had problems trying to figure it out before. Let's just get rid of that. Sometime we might re-implement it, I don't know, but we'd have to go through the dialogue, I think, to make it work well. I don't really feel a need to keep around this code. Input manager. Okay, I just won't worry about that. I always open up the choice dialog. Okay, so what I need to do, I guess, hopefully I won't forget to re-enable that. So I need to change the disconnected player. Actually, the connected and disconnected players are almost the same now, but we'll leave them separate because the disconnected player at least has the reserved for, and it has this reserved icon, which is fine, I guess. So I'll just delete that and we'll just have another text field. Okay, and add that here. So if it's reserved for nobody, I guess I should have a better value here. So I can't do the null coalescing because if it's empty. So if it's null or empty, let's just okay, nobody, and then slot dot username. Alright, so let's try that out. I'll go ahead and load up a second player. Oh, wrong button. Oh, so we got an error. Oh, I did it again. I did forget to re-enable the dialogue. Okay. Gotta be a better way to do this. I wonder if I could just like move it out and then when I start the scene it would re-center or something. That might be a better way to do it, but not where I want to go. Okay, so now they're connected, and if I kick them, it's going to remove their username from here. So reserve for nobody. Let's try it again. Oh. There we go, and so now I just need to disconnect. Yeah, and so now it's keeping this reservation for that client. But if I press the kick button, okay, then it says reserved for nobody. Okay, but it still lets me kick them, even though there's no username in there. So okay, let's actually fix that. So we just want to return true only if there is a username in the slot. So string is null or empty. Is false. Okay, so anyway, I think that works better. But yeah, the remove slot works fine. I guess I should try removing a slot when there's somebody connected. Okay, so now there's somebody here, and if I remove the slot, the dialog should pop up. Yeah, removing the slot will disconnect the player. So if I cancel, nothing happens. Say okay, then they get disconnected. So I can make sure that everything is consistent. Yeah, so they're not connected anymore, and the lobby parameters are set up correctly. Okay, so I guess we're done with that. And I think... yeah, I don't think I need the transfer player button. Used to we'd need it because the player indexes were matched up with the slot indexes, so you couldn't have a spectator on slot 0 because that would mean that player 0 was a spectator, but now the player indexes are separate, so it doesn't actually make any difference. So the only reason you'd want to transfer a player is if you, like I said, you're being really picky about the order. But yeah, I think it's just gonna be kind of buggy because it's like, what happens if you transfer it as something that already has somebody connected? So it's not really that important. But I think I'll get rid of that. Oops. Okay, so yeah, let's fix this. So the host can't remove their slot. So now I need to go to the kick manager and just make it so I can't kick myself. Okay, so... so again, if there is some username in here and the username is not the host's. Username comparer equal, I can spell it. Also, it's not the right namespace. Slot username and local connection username. Yeah, we don't actually know the host. Like, if we're a client, we don't really know specifically who the host is, but at this point, I don't know if it's needed. I mean, the server could provide that information to us pretty easily, so... but we already check that the host is true, so we can just see that the local connection is the slot, so that's fine. And that works here too. The only other thing is that this will be a little annoying, actually. So these type drop downs right now, I kind of hard coded in the index, but you can't set, if you're the host, you shouldn't be able to set yourself to be anything except a player or a spectator. So I think, let me see. I guess instead of switching the slot index, I can just switch the string, although I don't even set the strings here, actually. Well, I guess that'll be fine because this is just a temporary UI, so it is a little messy, but Now I just need a list of string for drop down options. Okay, so here well actually it's going to be different. The options will be different for each depending on if it's the host or not. Void build options. Okay, so drop down options clear. Okay, so if it doesn't really matter if I'm not the host. So if local connection dot is host and local connection username equals the slot's username. Okay, then we just have two slot. No, not slot. Drop down options. Add. Again, this is a little hacky. Well, not really hacky, but I guess I don't know the right word, but not super extensible. Later on, yeah, when I remake the UI to actually look pretty, we'll probably want to have something different here. Well, we might not even use a drop-down menu. I don't know. Okay, so none. Player. Guest. AI. Spectator. And then instead of using the actual slot index. Okay, well actually this, do I have an index of? Okay, I do. So again, this is not the best implementation, but also this is, well, we only use slot to drop down index while I'm specifically here, so this should be okay. Right? Yeah. Okay, so this will be fine for now. And then here, instead of switching the value index, oh, I can't do this actually. What about registry, items, slot index, type, drop down. That gives me the index, but okay, so I can do that. Hopefully this will give me the string. Okay. And then, okay, so this is player. Guest. Spectator. AI, and then anything else. Okay, so I guess this works. Yeah, I'm really not happy with it, but I think it will be okay for now. Oh, okay, well that's started off badly. Okay, what have I done here? So slot to drop down index. Guest player, spectator AI, none. And then player, guest, spectator AI. Oh, I don't build the options, that's one thing. So item, type, drop down, clear options, item, type, drop down, add options. Okay, maybe that was all the issue was. Okay, well that's correct now. Yeah, and only player and spectator. Guess I should make sure that the lobby parameters are actually updating correctly. And if I set this, none, player, guest, AI, spectator. Okay, and if I join in with another player, will it still bring up the dialogue if I try to kick them? Oops. Gotta change the username. Okay, so now they're here, and if I... Oh, why wouldn't it let me kick them? Okay, well that must be backwards. But anyway, switch it to AI, and it kicks that player. Okay, so that's all working. Okay, well that's fine. And the good thing is that I was able to change the way this works without having to change anything in the game logic. Like the slot input manager stayed the same even though I switched around the interface. And that's pretty much the goal of any good interface implementation. So I am happy about that, but yeah, relying on these strings is kind of flimsy. And for instance, it'd be buggy if I ever tried to call this outside of this loop because the drop down options would be different. But it will work for the time being. No, what was the issue? Oh yeah, the kick button manager, this is messed up. So, oh, again, should be false. Or, yeah. So we want to make sure that the username is not empty and that it also is not equal to the host. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, everything's so far so good, and if I kick them, perfect. I just want to make sure it will let me kick them if they're disconnected, since I keep getting things backwards. We'll join. And then if I disconnect, Yeah, let's set it reserved for this client and I can kick it. Okay. So let's just, like I said, I'm gonna remove the transfer because it's not really needed and it'll just be kind of buggy. Well, not really buggy, but it'll be complicated for something that doesn't really have any good use. So we'll just get rid of that. Now I could probably, if I wanted to clean this up, I could move the kick and remove slot buttons up on the same status row. Okay, and let's just, this will clean up the UI a bit because it's already taking up quite a bit of room. Obviously we want to have a little more descriptive names here for the final version, but let's just make sure that no errors come from moving those around. I can also get rid of this. Actually need to start from the title. Okay, well this is fine. I was gonna say it is a little strange that it pushes these all the way to the side, but I'm not really complaining. It actually looks nice that way. AI. Oops, I keep on clicking the same thing. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. So are we done with the player slots? Oh, I need to do an add slot button. So that's actually going to be very simple. Let's just do add slot button manager. Actually, I'll copy the kick button manager because it's simpler than the remove. So I don't even know if this button would ever be deactivated. I guess we probably want to have like some maximum number of slots, but I guess we'll need that. And also, yeah, you have to be the host. Wait, this is the wrong namespace. So is interactable, yeah, in input phase, and we're the host. There's no slot index, so I don't have to do that. Do I want to have a maximum number? I think in the server I set it to be like, well, actually the server doesn't even have. I don't know if I have a maximum connections. I think I do have a maximum number of verified connections. But I mean, if a connection doesn't even get verified, it wouldn't even go this far. I guess I'll just enforce it in the UI, and later on, if I want to have it enforced in the game data, we can do that as well. So max slots equals. Let's just go with 10. It's fine. Yeah, so it really just return state in phase, and we are the host, and lobby parameter slots count is less than max slots. Okay, so this actually would go, there's only one add button object, so button. Okay, I'm actually not using any UI classes in here. I don't have to. Oh, and also, I don't have to register the listener except here. So registry, add slot button, add, or on click, add listener, on click. So that's really simple. So actually, these functions now are the same. Okay, so slot, add, command, input, I'll rename it. So I guess I have to use this rename mode. No reason for those curly braces, actually. Okay, and then I don't need this. So yeah, this is a really simple class. And then, okay, well I guess I'll go ahead and initialize it while this is open. I just gotta register a listener for this new event. Alright, so again, I'm not going to enforce a maximum number of slots in the game logic, I don't think. So we just need to check if we're in the input phase and we're the host. And if that's true, I could just add the slot right here. So add new slot. Let's see. So the type, I guess we'll just start it off with none. I guess I don't have to do anything else. And then we'll notify parameter change. Okay, I think that's all I have to do. So let's go ahead and test it. Oh, well, I do have to add the button to the that registry object. Okay, and create. I could just add more. And remove them all for my own. The scroll wheel speed is really slow. Okay, so now we have slot 10 and it won't let me add any more. wonder if you can speed that up, 'cause that's super slow. I'm using my scroll wheel now, but... Wait, what happened there? So I tried to set it as a guest of test username and it switched to be a player. Does that happen if I try to connect with another? Okay, so if I have another guest of 2, that works. So something weird happens if I try to have a guest. Oh, I bet it's... I think it's just the interface. I hope. Yeah, these other 2... Let's see, test username player 2. Oh no, this was actually not set to a guest. Okay, so actually... Oh yeah, so I think I messed up type drop-down manager here. I also need to make sure that... Did I? Yeah, I think I should do this. So, and is slot with client. Because what could be happening here is that is guest might be true. And if that is the case, then we'd actually not want to use this. We'd actually use this list. Okay, so that's good, but then that made the actual game logic kind of mess up as well. How would this work? If there's 2 slots, well, it's not really... I guess what would really happen is you just not want the interface. We just wouldn't launch or let you say that you're ready if this is in an invalid state, which would be if there's double usernames. Because we wouldn't want one person to have multiple players. That doesn't make any sense. So I think I won't worry about it now, but let's make sure that I can still set a guest of the host. Also, I don't like the way the drop down looks. Thought I already fixed that, but I don't know what that. Status row. Guest. I thought I already had this to expand. Oh, for some reason that got set to 0. Should be 1. Alright, so now if this is a guest, to test username, okay, so it stays a guest. So I think what was happening before is that the drop-down list was seeing that the username was set to test username, so it used the other, or the smaller options here. And since guest wasn't in it, it kind of messed it up and set it back to player, and then when that happened, the input got passed to the game logic, which turned is guest off. And so then we had duplicate here. And also, okay, so I should be able to, well no, you can't kick a guest, so this is fine, but I should be able to remove it actually. So let's fix that. Okay, so what would happen is, let's do this like this. So if username equals the host, then we'd want to return is slot with client is false. If the username does not equal the host, then we'll just return true. I think that's the clearest way to do this. Okay, so yeah, now it will still let me remove this guest even though it has the same username. Okay, I guess the game logic will let you do it though. Okay, so let's do has client. So we'd go through here, if has client is false or the username is different. Is that true? Because if has client is true and the username is equal, then we would not want to go through here. I think it'd be simpler if I invert this. Okay, so now it's if has client and username is equal is false, then we'd go through here. Okay, and I don't need to test that again, so if has client, then we'll kick them. Let's write a comment. So only remove this slot if it is not the host player slot. Check as client. Let's see. We need to check has client due to guess. Okay, I hope that will be clear to me. I guess I don't need to have another client for this, I just want to check. Okay, so now it does let me remove that. Okay. Alright, so I think we're finally done with this. That means yeah, we're finished with the players. For now. We'll have to come back to it when we do save files, and I guess mods too, because we'll probably need to update the script drop down, but should be okay for now. Alright, so I have about 15 minutes or so. So I guess I'll start on the mods. Okay, so I'm trying to think of the best way to plan this out. I think I might just go in the lobby and start arranging UI elements. But first, I'll hide this again. Okay, and I'll just create... Okay, I wish there was an easier way to just create an object with a rect transform. So this will be mods. Okay, yeah, this seems to be set correctly. So yeah, I want another vertical layout group, probably. Let's see, so I'll want a button to reload mods, and then there'll be a list of basically all mods, and you'll be able to turn them on or off. And then I think mods will be able to have like a description type thing. And I guess we'll have a button to open that up. Let's see. So let me make sure I set this up. So child alignment up or left. Child controls width and height, and we only force expand on width. Okay. How much spacing I want. So I guess we'll probably have another label. Probably this font should be bigger. I guess not that big. Alright, and then we'll have another rect transform. This actually should be a sibling to the label. And this will just be the list of... Actually, see, the thing about mods is that there's two different categories. There's framework mods and then content mods. So I'll need two different lists. And the difference is for a framework mod, you can only have one selected, but you can have as many content mods selected as you want as long as they're compatible. Okay, so let me see. I have less spacing here, I think. I think is the normal size. And then we'll have another object kind of like the slot UI type thing. Or a framework mod row. So this will have... I don't really want each listing to be too large, so I'm wondering, should I even allow multiple rows? Because really, I just need a checkbox if you want to load it or not. I guess I'll need a status icon to see if it's loaded, and then a checkbox to see if you want to use it, and then the name, and an info button. I think we can get away with just one row, so let's remove that and just have a horizontal layout group. So we just want to force expand height, and then child control their width and height. And it'll just be middle left, so they're centered. Let's have 8 pixel spacing. Okay, so first we'll have another little icon. I think I might copy that. And then we'll create a text item, or I guess it doesn't really matter the order here. We want to toggle. Okay, and I need to probably mess around with this a little bit, so let's see. I can't select the layout info. Yeah, I wanted to see the layout properties. Because right now we have 0 width, because it doesn't... I guess this needs to be a horizontal layout group. And we don't want to force expand either of those. And now the background is too small, so I just need to give it a preferred width and height of however much I want it to be. Oh, that's a little bit too much. That looks better, and yeah, I'm surprised that Unity doesn't like have these settings by default, but I guess, do I even need this label? I don't know. What do I want to call this? I don't know if I need this label actually. So, do I even need this? Well, technically I don't. This layout element I can copy and just place on the actual toggle itself. Yeah, do paste as new component. Okay, there we go. Oh, yeah, this drop down. And now I just need to add some more text. So title, and I guess a version. And then I guess I should have an error. Because if the version is incompatible, then we would print out the reason why. Okay, so status. Maybe this should go after the icon. I don't know, it doesn't really matter that much. And then last but not least, I need the more info button. Okay, so in order to get this to show correctly, I just need to add some padding to each side. Alright, so let's guess more info. Okay, and I also was wondering, should I be able to transfer mods over the network? I don't know, I feel like that would be kind of cool, but I don't know if that's really feasible. Let me see. No, that's not what I wanted. Click toggle, a large image. Oh, I need the mod actual icon. Okay, so that'll be another little image. I guess it'll go right before the title. And this will just be some small image that the mod authors can specify themselves to load here. And then the button, kind of would like the button to go all the way over here, so I think what I'll do is have the status actually take up all extra space, so the button gets pushed over to the side. Because in the chess game, like mods that were loaded from other players would be shown here, but I don't know if that we really need that anymore. I think instead it would display mods that the host has that you don't, or that even that the host has selected that you don't. And if that's the case, then do I want, I don't know, I think I'll need to look into that. It would be kind of cool if I had a button here that if you don't have the mod, you could press it and then the host would actually send it to you over the network. But I don't know if that's feasible to do, and then you might even run into some issues where, like some legal issues where you don't have permission to distribute the mods, so it might be better just to not deal with it. But anyway, so this more info button. Okay, so I think this is pretty good for a mod line. Right now I have it set that it's just for a framework mod, but I don't know if there'd be anything different between the two. It is kind of a different list. And then for a framework mod, you can only select one. Definitely need to be a prefab. Alright, so let's duplicate this for the content mods. No, but really, they'll have different icons. Like for framework mod, the icon is basically just, is this compatible with this version of Tactical Lizard Tamer? And do you have it installed? And then, but for content mods, they'd also have to be compatible with the framework mod and with other selected content mods. So this icon might be a bit more revealing, and I guess we'd print that out in the error. All right, and last but not least, we just need a button that you can press to reload your mod list from the file system. And that would be if you had to go update some mods because they were out of date, then you could just press that button and the game would reload them. That's what... This doesn't have any padding on top. Why it's so thin. Oh, it seems like I just broke it. Why did that happen? Oh, I used this preferred height to deal with it. Huh. Okay, so I can do one or the other. I guess I don't need this anymore. Anyway, so back to this. Okay, so reload button. I want to rename it. And I think that's about it for the mods. I think that there's way too much spacing here. Alright, so first of all, I'm going to need a mod UI registry and a mod UI elements. Oh, I can get rid of that transfer button thing. Oh yeah, I forgot. When you use that, it does do mono behavior for you, but it won't set up the namespace, so it's kind of annoying. Game logic, lobby, X mods. Okay, so now I can just make these, I set these all up. So we kind of want the same type of stuff. Okay, yeah, we want the, I'll just call it an item prefab. And then we'll want different parents for the... Okay, well, actually it's a little different. So we'll have the framework parent, and we don't have to worry about sorting them really, except I'll probably want to sort them alphabetically, but... And then we'll have the content parent. There's not really a header or a footer. I will have a list, but guess I should create that. Let's just do a class this time. So mod item UI registry. And this will be public mono behavior. And then this will hold all the interface elements for the specific mod item, but okay, I don't want to leave that around in case I accidentally start editing the wrong thing. Mod item UI registry, and this will be framework items and content items. Okay, and then we'll have reload button, and we'll have a bunch of sprites, but I think I'll just delete those for now. Go ahead and do this same type of thing. Okay, and then here we'd have public image status icon, and then public toggle using toggle, and then image mod icon text mod name mod version. Oh, I guess maybe I should do that. Let's name text and version text. Status text, and then we have the more info button. I think that's really about it. And then the more info, when you click it, it will open up a dialog, which I guess I'll probably work on next. Get that set up. But I guess technically I'm a few minutes short of 2 hours, but I think I'll go ahead and end it here because we're at a pretty good stopping point. So yeah, thanks everybody for coming by. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, I know the webcam quality wasn't quite as good today, but I just couldn't keep my windows open. It's way too hot. But so yeah, thank you for putting up with that. But I should be back tomorrow at around noon Eastern, so feel free to follow me here on Twitch or on my Twitter if you'd like to be notified when I go live. I also have a YouTube channel if you'd like to just catch up on any old streams. I always upload everything there. You can see how the game used to look or just whatever. And then I have a Discord server, which I'm usually on most of the day. So if you'd like to chat with me, feel free to join that. And then I'll put I'll put links in chat, or you can check out the video description if you're watching from YouTube. But yeah, I think that's about it. So yeah, again, thanks everybody, and yeah, stay cool. Bye-bye.